Hi. Hi.
Hi. E.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hi.
Wow. So we are. What the echo? Echo. Okay.
Echo.
I think it left.
Oh, that's good.
I
Hi.
pronounced E. The
E.
letter I. With the
Hi.
dot above it.
Yes, the little I.
The pole that goes inside and through Earth and points to the North Star. Is and wow, what a big concept to be going over and finding words for. And what does "in" mean?
Yes.
Mean is also another I word, right? Mean. What's
Yeah, in English you have the E sound in many letter combinations also, like I and E and Oi.
right? And it should be pronounced like when I say what do I mean is what do I mind, and mind is I, so mean, meaning, all that is the I.
Yeah.
And we call these our I's, and it's our E, Medj, and Nation, right? And what's on the inside is our mind is on the inside. So we are talking about this concept of what is inside, ideas, ideals, identity. Yeah.
All illustrated.
Yes. Illuminating, illustrated, IMA, which we'll talk about. E-moon. Well, yeah. That'll be a different I. So there's two I's, right? We got the E of inside, and referring to maybe the more worldly E, the axis, and then we also have the man's E, and going inside the woman is the E. So all of those things, but the man and the woman's E is for another day. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're gonna concentrate more on the I of the everything.
Right.
The bigger I of the galactic axial I.
Yeah, which is kind of forms our concept of everything, which is kind of the pole, and the concept of this upright axis, which is a physical location as laid out in Bocksaga, which is a physical location. And currently there's a museum on top of this spot. But when the Earth was not tilted and was upright, you have this area around 250 kilometers ring where the sun wouldn't set, but it would kind of go around this pole, and the shadow it casts would make this ring. So it is from the pole that the ring is formed.
Yes.
Idea of the ring. So that's where we get our poles and holes.
And then you make the I.
And where is the pole located? It's inside the ring, and it makes the sides. So it's the inside.
Yeah.
It's on the in of the sides. Yeah. And so we get a lot of our understanding of human nature from this idea as well. And And I think so. This is kind of our first installment of really getting into all of the words that are formed by the concept of E combined with another concept of a different sound or mark for a sound, or however if you're reading it. So, you know, you got E standalone is inne,
inne,
inne.
It depends. It's like it can also be in, like internal, interior. It's inne. Inne is like in the specific. It's specifically inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, this concept of inside is like, it's kind of esoteric or mysterious, right? Because when I think of inside, you know, I could be inside a room, but then this room is inside a house, and then the house is inside the atmosphere or something like that. And, you know, everything's outside of ball or outside of the planet or something like that. So, but when you're bringing it back to the human meaning, it's what's inside, right? It's the feeling, or it's the idea. You know, it's the what comes from inside is not something physical that we can grasp. It's not a physical thing as much as it's a, I don't know, spiritual thing, or
it's both. You have the
Yeah.
physical things inside of you also, which makes you able to live, but you have also the minds and the souls inside, which we cannot see the same way.
And that's what I'm finding after I'm kind of doing the studying for this recording, is finding most of the I words that are not relevant to reproduction being very just this mental, spiritual, and from those ideas you can apply it to physical nature as well. But obviously, and there seems to be a nature connection to each sound combination. So we're going to go IA, IB, IC, ID, IE, IF, IG, all the way around. And there's not always a sound combination as far as, there's often a sound combination for each one found within languages, but it's going to be a lot often that it's actually a separation in the sounds. So when we get to IA, for example, where we're going to start, maybe this can be leaded in, is we have words that have IA within them, but it's actually two sound combinations put together. So the I and one of the sound combination ends in I, and one of them begins in A. So it's not actually an IA word as much as it's a, you know, bias, you know, like the word bias. If I'm biased towards someone, you got IA, but it's by us.
Yeah.
It's two different sounds. So that's an BI word, and then an AS word, which is osser. So anyway, that's kind of an interesting connection. Anyway, so let's do it.
It's me, myself, and I.
Yes. Right. What is I? You know, it's talking about me, I, self, I. Again, it's the same thing. So English will put the I sound, but which is if you were to translate that, would be I. It's two sounds. It's a combination sound in of itself.
Yeah, like me, my, and I. I, E.
They're all talking about inside. Like, because, you know, my name, I'm already saying it's my name is not me, right?
Yeah.
It's so. What are we talking about when we say myself, I? It's you know, the name my mother gave me on my name, you know, or we have a name day, is not me. I mean, it's what we call myself.
Yeah, that's my. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are a collection of all of our experiences and X pair E ents. I don't know. But and our ideas are so all of that collective makes who we are in this moment, is based on, you know, the E that we came from, which we talk about in the next I.
And all the evolutions that you have gone around the E.
Yeah, which and where all our meaning comes from. So, yeah. Is that an appropriate introduction to
I think we are into I now.
Okay.
It's like when you start to concentrate on English language and listen to where is the E, it's very frequent, can become.
It is extremely frequent, and because there's also kind of a dualistic meaning where we do have the physical E and we have the inside E, you know, and yeah. And I like the differentiation you made, that or the distinction of there's an uppercase and a lowercase I. They both you know, they both yeah, one specifically the North Star and one being the sperm, but this E can also just be the E. So yeah.
And this is the creation I maybe that this first I is about also. Like depending on which me, myself, and I were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So and something to note is that all the marks for the sounds are made with E's and U's. E-oo, E-oo. It's computer language. Ones and zeros. E's and U's. So Uden, which is right, which is everything also, but and E, which is one, and everything is ones and zeros, and same thing with our language, our sounds, and how nature goes and everything. So yeah, how should we start? Are we already
Let's then jump to our language wheel and see how we can play with E and the sounds and the words around them.
Do it.
I just need. Are we on?
There we go. So the inside, the E is literally inside. It is center. It is, yeah, it is the ultimate pole. The one, the everything. So
The pointer.
yeah, so we're gonna
so we're gonna start to continue like all these combinations. IA, IB, and look how they come together.
Okay.
And then go. 2 words at every point. So in English, we have, when we have E, we have just the single. No, sometimes we have single short vocal and sometimes we have long vocal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the one which is the most easiest to notice it is with the word easy. In the word easy, we have E in the beginning, and then we have C with the short one. So when we go dive into Finnish language, we can a lot see these double combinations, combination letters or single letters, which
We
then
also
have
have even shorter than that, like in dig or bit or
yeah.
So
Yeah, those are the short E's.
Mm.
And the EC is the long E. So these double vocal sounds appear also. In Finnish also, like double E beginning is then the iris, the iris of the eye.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
in Swedish or root and in English it's with one single I, but it's one of the few which have double I. And then we have the place in Finland called E with the double I, which is they're closer to the north of Finland. And then we have another place also E Salmi, which is then the E.
Can you provide a rough translation whenever you're using examples of those words?
The E itself is a name of the place. So it doesn't have, I don't know how to translate it directly.
Oh, okay.
It's just a name. But like the like a salmi is a straight. There is an E salmi, which is like an E straight.
I noticed that if in Finnish words, if it begins with that vowel, it's usually stays the same. But if the vowel is somewhere in the middle of the word, anywhere, it's kind of loose. Like you can change the vowel and it's still kind of the same word, and E and I's are give different context to this more basic syllable part of it. I can't give you an example off the top of my head, but it's pretty much the words, right? Like yeah, I won't be able to.
Yeah. But that's also is it maybe other language also?
Sure. Yeah. I mean
yeah, because we use it also in Swedish, this E sometimes in between, but it's more like then it's a connector letter.
There's a couple IA words in Finnish.
Huh?
Ones that's always, forever and ever, forever and a day is.
Yeah, so now we jump to II.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah. We yeah, because IA would be first, right?
Yeah.
So we got in Finnish these words for always and forever and eternal and everlasting. Eternally, eternity. That's a E word right there. And iakiken.
Yeah, iän kaikkein.
And then there's then you have a few different ways you can change the ending to be more specific on what kind of eternity, I guess.
Yeah, it's the different time phrases and moments of what of eternity.
Turn.
Turn.
Eternity. Eternity.
Ikuisuus. Eternity.
I think it's always best to like jump straight to the root, right? But
it's an I turn. Eternity.
yeah, that's A.
Yeah, but like an E turn. So E turns.
Yeah, so it'd be in the well, yeah, evignette. Evict. Evict. Yeah. All right, so IA. What you got for IA?
Well, I have a couple of words, which is e-acta. E, act, and ta, take. Is to observe.
To observe, yes. Yeah. To see, and the iris. Oct. That also gives 8 vibes to it, or no?
In German it's acht, but it's otta. But it's like action.
Yeah, it would be more act. Oct. Yeah. So the observer is giving iaktagare. Iaktagare.
Yeah, that's the observer itself. Iaktagare.
And even in the word observe, you got serve, which is also an act. So
sure.
So that you're yeah.
Secure, observe.
Yeah. Yeah. So that meaning, this is what I find often too, like maybe English words maybe don't have the same exact like spelling or anything, but these ob, there's a lot of ob words in English. So you have you can object, act, that's still acting, right? Object, an object.
Yeah,
right?
There's an act in it.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of this idea of like, if we don't have the words for something, it's like it doesn't exist, right? Or in Bocksaga it would be, we are given these sounds from Uden to appreciate and to appreciate the things around us, right? And no other animals, maybe other animals have like languages and sounds they make and they can communicate, but they can't describe like the specifics of everything, like of every little detail on the leaf and all those kind of things. So, but even within the animals, they can like see something and observe something. And so that, from that, this OB word, maybe we'll get to when we get to O, but as far as IA, it sounds like E is an separate syllable. So I dash act ga. So you're giving the action inside. So and without being able to see or observe the thing, it means nothing to the inside. So this is like kind of like being a witness to nature, right? And this is giving, putting the meaning or the actions for the future. You're being given, something of value when you observe something.
Yeah. Or in iacta, you're taking the act which is inside.
React.
That's react. That's again reacting it. Here you in the act take, and then become God, and then you start to give it.
Yeah, and I see this much longer expansion of that word, but it basically means powers of observation. Förmåga.
Förmåga, yeah.
Oh, did I do an okay job pronouncing that?
It was good.
Smack myself every
But
time I try.
förmåga is then the capability of doing something.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it does require capability to really observe. You know, that old, not old, but you know, like when someone says, "Oh, look around the room and count how many things are red." You count how many things are red, how many red objects, and then they go, "How many things were blue?" And you go, "I have no clue. I wasn't looking for that." So you weren't taking any action in the observation to, so what you're not looking at doesn't serve you. So what you're not obbing is not serving you. So you're not observing it.
It's what you concentrate your E on.
Yeah. And yeah, and then we also have, okay, actually I have something for later. So should we move on from IA? I mean, do you have it more on IA that you want to?
Then there is also like E on språkta, which is to claim something. There we have then several combinations. We have E, and then we have an, and then we have språk, and then we have ta.
Språk.
Språk is language.
Språk.
So E an språk ta is when you take something into speech. You claim something.
What would språk mean?
Språk means language, tongue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like spoke.
Yeah. Spoke, yeah. Spoke, yeah. Spoke and spoke.
Yeah. Okay.
Speak. Speak, spoke.
Speak, spoke. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Spoke.
Spoke.
Has an R in there.
Yeah. SPR. Ok.
Okay, so can you say that word one more time for me?
I an språk ta.
Taking the speaking on the inside.
Taking to speech.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so important.
Sometimes.
Yeah. You know, the idea of you know, what's a baby thinking? Right? Like what's a baby with no language or no meanings to the sounds thinking? You know, and it's like this pure emotion or something, maybe, or reaction.
The same thing is with how does language, how does nature speak? Because like the animal itself observes that that is a tree, and some animal observe that it's a green tree, and so on. So they know something comes from deep intuition into us. Because we still can hear sounds and comprehend things without even knowing what they mean.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of IA in Latin language. Should be like, yeah, okay. I don't have much to say about that. There are a bunch of words in English that have IA, but it's within the words, and there's not like a real main vein of, there's not like a real kind of fluidity to the meanings of all the different words that have IA in them, which signals to me that that they aren't coming from root.
Yeah, in Swedish, it said that there is 10,103 words, which includes ER.
Okay. So
like as a combination somewhere in between.
Yeah, and so I wonder if, since there's so few examples in root of ia, that the idea of an observer is being invoked in all of the IA words in Finnish.
Yeah, it's but in general, the ER, when it's in Aser or Aser in, it has to do with something that's happening inside of a man or inside of the main family.
We have this tissue inside the body called the fascia.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same? I wonder if that's the same in Swedish or no? Is that just a new word? The fascia, the fascia. And it's kind of like this. It's a more crystalline tissue. I actually know a little bit about it. It's basically, everyone has this fascia. So we have muscle tissue, and fascia is separate from the muscle tissue. It's like it's almost crystalline. It's similar. Actually, our fascia works similar to how our telephone screens work, or our screens work, touch screens work. So by putting pressure on the fascia, it actually generates energy, just like when you tap crystals or rub crystals together or something like that, and it generates light. Or when we touch our phone screens, which are made of this crystalline structure, fascia is similar to that, but in the human body.
Okay.
Butikskjut.
Yeah.
Butikskjut.
Butiksskylt.
Yeah, that would be fascia. Says.
Yeah.
Maybe.
In Finnish, it's the word, it's peitin kalvo. And that word explains, like, it's an covering, like, kalvo.
I see it here. Koye lauta. Here's one with a bunch of
It's a
eyes.
masking film, like it's a film that you have a mask on your body.
Here's another one that it says in Finnish, which is liike kilpi. Liike kilpi. Liike kilpi.
Liike is motion, and kilpi is like a shield. Or kyltti when it's a sign.
Wow,
Can be a
that's kind of
traffic
cool.
sign.
Yeah, and it sounds like we have many of the different eye sound, like a long eye, a short eye, in that one word, the double I, and shield. So a shield, that's why I would have P at the end for pi, for a ring.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's do IB.
IB.
eBay.
eBay.
eBay. Sell on eBay.
This is where all these American companies take their product names from the E. The iPhone, the iPad.
True. It's a powerful concept.
Yeah.
I only have
this is something
one.
that I cannot find so much words in the eBay form, but when we come to switching into the B form, then we have a lot of combinations again, like very often used.
Yeah, so maybe we can cite a few of those B combinations, but which is literally the little animal B.
Okay.
And I see one IB word in here. It means sometimes or now and then.
Yeah.
Ibland.
Yeah.
Ibland.
Ibland. Ibland.
Are you blonde?
Blonde. This is blonde. This is a mix.
Yeah, so this is Ibland. Bland.
It's E and blonde.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. But it could be E blonde, but then it's a little bit different there.
We have bland in English. So what's
not completely the same, but almost.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of bland would be like kind of neutral, kind of rubbed out also, like if your shirt gets from it was a vibrant color and then kind of the color washes away, it'd be kind of bland.
Yeah, it blends.
And blend, bland, blonde, all of these things is kind of wash away. And in Swedish, blonde would be like among or amongst or with, so the roughly similar meaning in that.
Yeah. So this E blonde.
Yeah, what would you say
then?
E? What would you say the E means in this word?
Like we have E blonde, so something inside of something. So you have a blonde, you have a mixture of things, and from among something, it's E blonde.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like it's a single.
Yeah, it's a single of many.
Different things.
Sometimes this, sometimes this, sometimes this.
Yeah. Okay.
Blonde,
nice.
blonde.
Nice. All right. And then we have a lot of B words, B, which is, the nature version of it would be the bee, the animal, the insect or whatever we call it. And then in a Bocksaga word would be the raw bee, which is, and the raw is basically the sperm, and the bee is the animal that goes around and pollinates. So, but as far as we have a lot of B words, we got bio, like biology.
Yeah.
And
being is general with meaning the double or the pair.
Yes, and it means two, like
bicycle.
Yeah, bicycle. Bird.
Yeah. And there is a bird with ibis bird.
Oh yeah, it's like a type of like heron or something, one of those long-necked birds. And what is it? Ibis?
Yeah, ibis in English. Ibis.
Yeah, ibis in Swedish. And
Finnish also. It's some Egyptians keeps this bird in high value in some cases. It's like a paradisical bird, or
very much so. Absolutely, it's very tropical. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we got bite.
Bite, yeah.
I don't know how many of these are going. Actually, let me just skip over here so I can just pull a bunch of the Swedish side. Just because it's a little relevant. We don't have much more with the other way around, but yeah, I got the bibehola, bibehola. The bee bell.
Yeah, the bee bell.
Biceps. So in the biceps is a group of two muscles. Whereas the triceps is a group of 3 muscles. So we have tree and B, or 2.
Kyllä. Should we take then more B words when we come to B?
Okay.
In our B life?
Yes, but if it is, it has something to do, we have one of the, speaking of the birds, because we have the ibis, it's also, we have the swan, which is a S-van, and so this must be a pretty, I don't know if ibis comes from root, but the bird itself, but it could, and it would be a very old word if so.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so let's move on to icing on the cake. I see. I say. I sure do say.
So you say.
We got
say
boatloads of IC words in English, but they seem to be very related to IS in Swedish.
Yeah, that probably happens a lot here. Because this can be something that the C is taken away.
Yeah, so we got icy, ice, icky.
The only word which is directly written in Swedish with IC is icke, which is a form of inte, which is a form of no.
Okay. No. No ice.
No ice.
Okay.
But it's pronounced icke, even if it's I say ki, go in.
Right, which also kind of is a written way of showing that it's a short I.
Yeah.
Little I. Versus like a long I. Ye. Or
yes. You're getting smart with this language.
What about micro?
Like
microscopic. Like microscopic. That would still be a K. So.
Yeah, micro.
Save I see. Don't have much to say about that.
No, not so much, but
okay,
it's fine. So maybe we have more
magic and quick and voice. Voice is an interesting one. Antic. Yeah, I don't have too many short words other than those. Price, voice, basic, music, quick, magic, topic, thick, micro. But again, not beginning with this sound. So, and a lot of these have this ick, which is definitely K.
It's the same as the tick in mathematic.
Yeah, so that's
it's
definitely a
kick and kick and tick and nick and.
Yeah, but what about voice? Voice. Vo, vu, vo. Is there that one seems kind of voice. Or price.
But that doesn't zeta in it in the written voice.
It could be an IS. Same thing with voice. Price. Voice. Huh. Yeah, those are actually two. Those are different. So maybe this voice. I wonder what the etymology on voice is, according to according to someone. Etymology. Let me just look up voice real quick. Let's just see what the mainstream says about voice. Old English. Oh, French. Voice. Yeah, it does sound French. Vocem. Vocal. Vocal. Voice. 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 Huh.
Yeah, vocal and vox. Vocal starts to sound like voice.
Yeah, vocal. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it must have been a modern French twisting on vocal. Vocal. Yeah. Okay. So, but that is a C word, but not so much a I. Yeah, voix, which is VOIX in French. But okay. ID. I got a lot on ID, so let's move on.
Yeah.
I want you to start with it though, because I got a lot. What say you? ID.
What's your ID?
How do you identify yourself?
Lilo Dallas.
Or are you too idealistic to share your ideas? Or what about your ideology?
It's identical with yours.
Yeah, identical. Yeah, these are all very old words. Do not worship false idols.
That's why you have your idol, which you look up to.
Yes.
This is also like the idol question is very interesting because the saga, the 8 powers or the 8 Lemminkäinen, Joutsen, Ukko, Akka, Maija, Seppo, and Ampo and Aino, when they are idols, so that you look up to your idol. But then it switches at some point that some of these idols becomes these other kind of idols, which you should not worship on.
Yeah. We're getting back into astrology. We're getting back into astrology.
Yeah.
For that particular one. Just to drop a little bit on that is, there's the great year that's divided by the different signs. So every 2,000 or so years, the sun generally rises in one particular part of the sky, and during more of the Egyptian era, 6,000 years ago, would rise in Taurus, and so say the golden calf is when the sun rises in Taurus, because gold is an aspect of the sun. And so whenever you're talking about gold, you're also referring to the sun, or in Bocksaga it would be Udin. So gold is also an aspect of Udin. And when that age moved over to the age of Aries, because the great year goes backwards. So it goes from Taurus to Aries, then to Pisces, and either now or in the next 100 years, we'll be going into the age of Aquarius. But that previous age, you don't want to worship the previous age. You understand that we've moved into a new cycle, a new a new age. So these ages are about 2,000 years each. And so now we have the Jews that are more of the age of Aries, and so if you're still worshiping the golden calf, that is, you're worshiping a false idol.
There is such time frame in that also, indeed.
So yes. Ideas. So arguably the word idea is also another IA word in sound. Idea.
It's idea.
Idea. So we also have so day is daytime.
Yes.
Right? So we have day, which means to go into hibernation. So you're going inside of the day. You're like basically leaving. You're going inside during the day. You're hibernating.
Day.
Day.
Yeah.
So that one literally means to hibernate, which is.
But it can also be it's to hibernate to ide, but it's like den is the place where the animal lives. It's like den, ide.
Mm-hmm.
So the animal goes into the den for the winter.
Yeah, that's the garden. Is there a garden in there? Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden. That's then another story, the Garden of Eden, because the English doesn't have a single letter O sound. The English letter, the closest to O is the E. And then the E sound is it comes from the E to the E. And then becomes Gardens of Eden.
Well, the word garden.
Yeah.
Guarding the den.
Yeah. Yeah. True that.
Yeah, and so you have Osgard den, Vanguard den, and Midgard den.
Yeah.
And when you go into it, go in. Hold on, I need to check on something. So you talk about ID real quick.
I just wait for you. Put it on pause.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna check on someone. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So in this form, and is the I means inside. So now we have an idea, right? And the day is the daytime, right? It's where the light is shining. Now, when the light is shining inside, if you have an idea and you use an emoji on the phone, which one do you use? Or in like an old cartoon, it's a light bulb. Right? If you have
information.
Right idea.
Yeah.
The day inside, the light, you're awake during the daytime, right? And so when you have a bright idea, it's in the word itself. You don't even need to say bright because it's saying right by saying day or day. Love it. And now if all or all day is the ideal. The ideal, right? And so what is ideal? Ideal, right? What is the deal with that? Right?
Here we have a lot of things because I can also deal.
Yes.
And I can deal. I can drink everything.
Right. So now we're dealing with
business.
But they are one and the same. Using the ideal, like the ideal specimen, ideal specs, the ideal spec, like the spectator of the man, ideal specimen, is, of course, referring to the E of the man. Yeah. But it's also an ideal of an idol. Like the idol is the good man. It's the one who's good on the inside.
Yeah.
And is dealing stealing all of the people out, right? And this is, we take after our fathers or our mothers, and these are, that is ideal, and they're the ones with the big ideas, because that word is also in there, and they're the, you know, yeah. And I also saw this one, which is the yew tree.
The yew tree?
Yeah, the in Swedish it's the Eidegran. Have you heard of that kind of tree?
Like the grön, like you talk about evergreen trees.
No, a yew tree, Y-E-W in English, and in Swedish it's I-D-E, gran. A gran, it's a form of a gran tree, and it produces these nice like pink berries. Yew tree. Why don't you look it up real quick? Because it is like a pine tree for sure. It's a type of pine tree, but it produces these really like bright red berries.
Okay.
Eidegran,
yeah.
And it's in English, it's a yew tree, like almost like Jew tree, a Jewish tree. But and it's
yeah.
Here's drooping branches of the old yew tree, which is an interesting word for it. Yew. It's yew. Right? A yew tree can root and form new trunks where they touch the ground. So when they droop and their branches touch the ground, they go back in and form a new trunk.
Wow.
And, they symbolize death and resurrection in Celtic culture.
Okay.
So the Celts will have been familiar with the toxicity of the tree's needles in particular. Is it okay to touch it? No. Wait. No. Okay. Never mind. I don't know. I don't know why I read that. Okay, but there are poisonous parts, I guess. And
this Finnish says that the whole plant is poisonous.
Interesting.
It only lives anymore in the Åland Islands as free.
Yeah, and it's very common in the northern hemisphere. The northernmost in Norway, and the southernmost in Celebes. I don't know where that is. Yeah. So that's cool. That's which makes it makes a lot of sense why it would be called that, because, well, it's a gran tree for like, this is a type of spruce tree, I believe. The gran tree is like spruce.
Yeah, this is a spruce type of tree. Yeah.
Yeah, the gran tree is I mistakenly called it a spruce or fir tree in English. So a fir tree, and I mistakenly have called it the pine tree before, but that's different actually. So
it's a type of a pine tree, because pine is the bigger group of trees.
But maybe it's a good time to mention why it would be called the gran tree. Do you want to do it, or
the gran?
Because go ahead. Yeah, because I mean, I know it well, but it'd be nice to hear it from someone else. But specifically, when I just read about this tree, the drooping branches of old yew trees or old Eidegran trees, they root and form new trunks where they touch the ground. Should be very effective as using it as a gran tree. So
yeah, the granite eating gran tree.
Yeah,
the birch tree which can eat granite with its roots. Into that, this fits this idea that it can root itself into the next to its branches. It fits very well.
Yes. So yeah, that's the idea of the gran tree. Is it's these kind of trees are not for just because they're not used because, and they are poisonous. So that's not kind of the main purpose of them. The main purpose of them would be used to grow forest and a nice layer of soil again, and start repairing the land that is that was basically eaten away from the ice age.
Yeah.
And,
because these trees leave a lot of soil after them all the year when they're releasing these small green things. And then in 100 to 150 years, they grow into full growth, so you can cut them down and burn the ground. You can make this slash and burn tactics to make earth.
This it says here that these trees can be over 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
And it is an evergreen tree. So these evergreens' purpose is to continuously drop throughout the year, pine needles and things like that, to create this layer in the forest. And then especially when you go through and burn it, it creates ash layer, and then that ash layer continues to get covered and things like that. And it's well known, maybe not everyone knows this, but old trees, when they burn, they do not die. So old trees survive the burning and create thicker bark. And so you can really burn the new growth, the faster growing trees can be used to for firewood and things like that, where some of these older trees, so it's a collection of different types of technology to repair the nature around us, especially in the north is mostly where it's needed, And anyway, so that's great. That's a cool ID, nature connection. We got Idale. Pure. Pure. IDEL.
Idel.
Yeah.
Idel. Yeah, with double. Yeah. Ideal.
Yeah. No A. It's just E-D-A-L. Here it gives a definition of sheer or pure. Let me see what this translator gives me as a translation. Yeah, same thing. Sheer. Yeah. Pure, unadulterated.
It's the word ideal. Ideal.
Well, sheer is an interesting word. Sheer, but it's you shear a sheep, for its wool, so you shear it. But you can say in English, you can go like, I'm struggling to think of how to use it in a sentence when it's not that uncommon of a word to use. But it basically means like it's like an adverb. So for the sheer sake of things, I'm going to explain it this way. It's for the it is a good definition. I feel like, but you think of like when you shear the sheep, you kind of like see its actual body, without the wool, and so it's kind of like that unadulterated, pure form of the sheep, without its wool covering it, and you're like, oh wow, you're actually kind of a scrawny animal there, aren't you? But that is kind of like an ideal. So it's kind of like a pure form. But dale would be like a valley.
Dal. Right? Yeah. Dale is a part, like a part of something. Dal is a valley.
Okay. Well, let's just skip that one.
Dale is like ideal.
Oh, well, here's it also in another word. Ideligen, ideligen, continually or perpetually. So, which is interesting because the end is gene, gain, Gen, like genes, like we have we're all from our father's genes, and li for like little, and then dale e. So ideli gain, continually, perpetually. So you generate, yeah.
But en is again.
Oh. Well, yeah, but yeah, same thing actually. Yeah. Well, I mean that's another that's an ig word. Yeah. Again. Yeah. But what is happening again? The next gen, iteration, right? Yeah. So the next gen is again, which is another back to the human experience meaning of all of these words. I mean, again, what? I guess we were about to get there, but and then identify. I mean, this is all ID so far that we're talking about, right? We got identify, ID. What? Like, show me your ID, sir. And you know, that's our identification. So ID is, like I kind of introduced this idea earlier of how we are a collection of all of our experiences and all of our ideas, and every idea we ever had, you know, like, where do our ideas come from? Do you know what your next thought is going to be? Like, these things are coming from, you know, within the E, the ultimate E, right? It's all our ideas are coming from some collective Udin, you know, consciousness kind of thing. And they are little nature gifts, aren't our ideas, aren't they? And we wouldn't have them without our words and having a sense of ourself and a me, an I, and yeah, me, myself, and I. So that is our den, the den within our head, right? Our burrow, our place, which is our brain. Our identity, How would you say T? Was that 10?
Yeah, T can be 10. Sometimes they can T at 10. But T is also tea, like the drink itself.
Okay. Yeah.
So depending on how you mix it in.
Yeah, so it could be te or tea.
Okay.
Like more in root, T. But you know, all these identity, then you have the rest of the word to be whether it's your identity is identify, identification, identical, or identity. Like, whereas in like identity in English, in root, it'd be identitet. So et is one, or family, and that's where we get our identity from our father, or from the All Father.
Yeah, because like you have your E, and then you have your den where you are, and then T can be also to till in long way, but T, and then to can be you, like in also in all the English. So you have E, den, T, to. So it like you have the your den, I den, and then you have T2, which is the showing to it.
T2. Yeah, two is you in Spanish also.
Two. Yeah, two.
Yeah.
Sí.
The ideology is obviously idea, the logic of an idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And they are getting out of control. These we should call it ideologic.
Ideological.
Idea illogical.
Well, we have like outside of ideas now, we have also idag, which is day, which is today. Like today, idag. We just were playing around with two also.
Yeah. Dog. Wow. You know, like everyone's like who's doesn't know anything about Bock Saga is like, where does the word God come from? Well, obviously it comes from dog backwards. It's the only explanation. Well, what's dog mean? Well, again, if you go back into Bock Saga, it means daytime, which is ruled by the sun. You know, so again, you're back to Uden again, over again.
But that's when you have ida, you have the day, but when you have today, you come to the day. Like you.
Wow.
Yeah. You have in and to, which is basically both pointing to the same place in a different way.
Yeah. All right. I think did we drain? Well, we do have idrut, which is sports.
Yeah.
Is that
and on the Finnish side we have idätys, which is to germinate.
Say that again?
Idätys, which is to germinate, but when we come to itä, we come to the base form of it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, what's up with the rot?
The rot.
Is it by itself, or is it idrot?
It's idrot.
So it's id rot root.
No, it's I and drot.
Okay. So what's drot?
Drot is at least in queen, drottning. But drot has maybe some even more basic meaning.
No, I just put in draught with one T and it gave me bitch.
It's also translated somewhere as a ruler or a sovereign. So a ruler is called a drot. So called a drots.
Yeah, the drottning is the queen. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that makes a lot of sense because so like in Saga during the sporting events that you would have in Colosseums, these are competitions the men would do in service to compete for to be the one that so basically women would choose a man.
Yeah, in the festival.
This would happen on December
24th.
24th?
Yeah. That's no, the
she would choose earlier.
Huh?
When she choose a little earlier, or no? Oh, so she has a dream, and if she is chosen to become a mother, then she would be during some festival, which is fest is a party. E is you're electing your man.
Yeah.
Your man's E, and val is the election or the choosing, the word of choosing. So you're choosing the E in a party. And later during Boxing Day.
After choosing Boxing Day, yes.
Okay. So on Boxing Day, the men would compete with each other. Now, sometimes and often, not all men would win. So even if he was chosen by the female, if he does not compete in the sport, then he would then she would have to wait to see if she can have a man next year. And but if her man won during this sporting event, then later on Johanna's Day, which is midsummer on
24th of 6th.
Yes, and then for 1 month they would have a honeymoon.
Yeah.
And then you would have 9 months later would be March, which is when most of the children would be born. Now, in this word for sport in Swedish and root is idrotta. Now, the word for queen, you put in the word queen, you get drottning.
Yeah.
So it is literally the men are competing in competition for the queen, and whereas in this old time, all women were a queen, right? And now if you take the word for the actual word queen, which is kvinna, kvinna, you get the word woman.
Yeah.
Now if you take the word queen, you get drottning, because now this woman, not all women are queen, but the woman that was chosen to be a mother becomes the drottning.
They go from drottning to mother. They become drottning and then become mother. Because drottning is like when you have the steps, first you are Freya, everybody. Then everybody can become Seppo and Maja, the king and the queen. And then only some chosen of those becomes then Lemminkäinen and Joutsen, and they become parents. So you jump from being a drottning to being a mother or a Joutsen.
That is so fascinating. All this bringing it all together in this word, I didn't have that realization till just now. So when I said it, it was when I was realizing these connections, what it says in the story of the Bock Saga. There's no other explanation for these concepts of why these words are the way they are. So it's so important to be able to go back into this root, or like or my hacky version, since I don't speak the language, is going into Swedish. So and it's right there. You got idrotta to go in for sport. You got idrottsdag, which is sports day or games day, or idrottförening, athletics association, or idrottsgren, which is the branch of sports type of game, which is the branch of sports, right? You have these different branches, and the word for that is grain, which is the green of like the leaves. So it's really the branch. And
the branch is the green. That's cool.
And you know, I'm just like looking at it right now, and it's just like hitting me like I'm in Boxing Day and I'm losing.
You know, sports in Finnish is urheilu, and then urheilija is to be courageous. To have courageous lu, and lu is then making it to be a verbal sports, because urheilija is a sportsman, urheilu is sports, urheila is to do sports. So it's all about being courageous when you do sports.
Beautiful. I love when you can throw in some Finnish.
You need to be courageous on the Boxing Day to become a father.
Absolutely. And see if you stand up to the occasion. Okay.
Stand firm.
I think that's a great way to end on ID.
ID, yeah.
I think that's a good ending on ID. Let's see if I had anything else. Idol, identify. Yeah. Basically, that ID is summed up as ideas, and
it's either dense or ideas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Inside the den.
Yeah.
So, okay. We got IF, and I don't think I have anything for English.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. You're gonna have to handle this one then, because I got
but
nothing.
there is no direct words, at least in root, which starts with IE.
Right.
Oh, if we turn IE backwards, it becomes A, and then maybe we find something. But this IE, it can found in the middle of the words, like Aryans becomes ARI-R, or ASEAN, like Asia becomes ASEAN. There it comes, but radius, radie, series, serie.
I got view, diet, like it's a nice view. We spell it V-U, view. So the W is just enunciating the A-E, the letter E. So A, view, view. I don't know. Yeah, what you said was, but in English we also have a lot of words that when they're plural, it's IES, so it's belonging to the IE. So I don't know. Inside the tree.
Yeah, there is like a belonging to. Yeah.
Yeah. Spiel.
Spiel.
You know, a fiend, which is like not your friend.
Yeah.
Then,
but then we have like
rent.
die, lie, die.
Right. Lie. Die. Yeah. Brief. Quiet. Yeah. Movie. Well, a lot of it's spelling, so it's not really, the E is not really making a sound, so it doesn't really count. And then it's plural. A lot of it's plural, so I don't really have anything for this one.
Not so
Siege.
much.
Siege.
Yeah.
Siege. Yeah. See, again, it's the E is silent in sapiens, Homo sapiens, Homo sapiens. So,
but there is P and N's because P is the people.
Yeah, friends, free ends, friends. Yeah, again, it's our glacier.
Yeah.
Glacier.
Yeah. But that's again the same as the area glacier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be like, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Next. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get through all of them.
Let's just move on.
Okay.
So if
IF, yeah, I see it here. So go ahead.
In the seed, frö.
Yes, in the seed.
In the
wow,
seed.
there's a lot in the seed. It's like everything in the seed.
If there would be.
The I and the all the ones and zeros that needed to make everything is in the seed. Yeah. Or the 1 and 0 is the seed.
Yeah. If itself. That's an English if word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also Finland in the other way. If
Yeah, that's the only word in English that begins with if is if. But we have quite a few if words that are not beginning with it, but are within English. So we got different, got gift, wife, lift, to lift up. We got a biff, like if you fall and eat crap, or you miss your shot, you biffed. Grift, a grifter. Shift, fifth. Yeah, 50.
So like there is more fee starting words maybe.
Knife.
Life.
Knife. Yeah, and then we also when you change something into something else, you ify it. So you can edify or dignify or gasify. Like you can change that one. That one's the same backwards because you got ify. So either way, and you got this if. Sheriff. Spiffy. So, and then in Swedish dictionary here we got ifall.
Ifall. That's again like an e word, like e and fall. And then fall, if you hear fall, you hear falling, but fall can also be a case. So it's like ifall in case.
I love this one, which is ifjol.
Ifjol.
Which means last year.
Yeah.
But it has the word yule in it, which is the wheel. And I just love the idea of a year being called the year, a wheel. I just love that because it's so true that a year is a wheel. And that's like the cycle of never ending, but one revolution is, 1 year of one revolution of the wheel or the sky clock. Or we're like looking at the wheel right now,
It's very interesting that you noticed the wheel there because I have not noticed before. But now we have an F wheel. So we have a like past wheel.
Yeah, fuel.
Yeah, the seed was planted in the last year though.
Say that word for me, the last year.
Fuel.
It sounds like fuel.
Yeah, it does. I also heard it.
L, but spelling, but fuel.
It's fuel and fuel.
Right. Well, there's something there. I don't know what it is, but maybe we'll discover it. Discover. Discover. So remove the cover. Remove the cover. Look
then
inside.
can we go to the next, which is then e-fråga, which is again e-fråga.
Oh yeah. Question.
Yeah. Because fråga in itself is a question, but when you e-fråga, you are like in questioning it.
Oh yeah, it says calling into question.
Yeah.
Calling into question, which is E, right?
Yeah.
E is in. Calling into question. Fråga. Frog. Huh. It's a funny word for question. Fra.
Frog.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably discover why that is when we get to F and FR.
Yeah.
But this is going to be kind of tricky to like navigate all this stuff, because there's like we could probably do this over and over and over.
Yeah.
You know, and already, you know, like we're at IF and we're at what, an hour and a half of recording. You know, and it's so fascinating, because that's what it's hard to study for this, because you know, you get the E and then you get the rest of the word, and I'm like, well, what's all these FR words all about, you know? And then but what about the og, you know, like what's it mean when you change the vowel from an ah to an ah, or an ah, or an, you know, all the way around. And yeah, so this one says Fragavarande. So
Frågevarande. Ifrågavarande.
Have the next one, which is Ifron. Drive away from.
Yeah.
So which makes sense. From.
Yeah.
From. So so E is this idea of the polarities, right? Of like in and out, right? Towards or away, you know, or
So Ifrån is actually very saga related word also, in the sense because you have the I and everything comes from the I. So Ifrån, because you have Ifrån, you have the Ifrö, which is the seed from the top. And then you have Ifrån, it's when it comes from the top.
Yeah. That is where we all come from.
Yes.
Okay.
From the E.
All right, let's move on to IG.
IG.
Actually, I don't feel like I fully got this IF, because it's way too common in English for not kind of dig in to what it's doing. So like when especially with this if I, like if I, so you can deify something, right? You're turning it into some, you deify the president, right? Then he has become this deity, this god, like, you know, you're and to deify would be to I deify, right? To E deify, like to turn them into the ideal, right? But it's this is the false ideal, right? And to deify. So when you're ifying it, E-fi. So E-fru, E-frui. You're I don't know how to think. I don't know how to think of it. I feel like it's on the edge of my thoughts. It's on the edge of my knoll.
That's when it doesn't come out from.
Yeah,
it's on the edge of the eye waiting to come. Boom.
Right, wifey.
Why?
You know, no, wife. You know, your wife, husband and wife. Gift. So this is definitely a connecting sound that is giving that inside, the seed inside, you know, which is what you put into your wife. Right?
Yeah, like wife is the gift. Then if you take
what is the gift? What's inside the gift? is the seed. That is the gift. What's in Santa's sack?
Yeah.
All of his gifts.
All
right?
Yeah. But like if you take WIF, then it becomes like the seed of the world. Like frö i världen, frö in world. Sort of.
Yeah. No, the gift is
or in womb.
The
seed in womb.
Seed in the ground. Wow. Well, you're also saying tour, so you're also saying that is the heart of the gift. Gift. So gi is give, and is gift is like one whole word. So the tour through in the ground. So that is the heart of the gift is the heart and the seed in the ground. Something like that.
Yeah, but also in Swedish language, also gift. You can you have gift, which is poison, and then you have gift, which is to be married.
That's hilarious, actually. Yeah.
So your present when you get your wife, you get some poison. That's your gift.
That now. God, that's so funny. You put in gift, the word gift, the English word gift. It goes married, poison, venom, wedded, virus, and toxin. Wow.
But that because give can be giving. So you give
divorce rate.
Horse race.
Is there a high divorce rate?
Ah.
Always saying I'm poisoned when you're saying I'm married. Every time you say I'm married, poison, it's got to be like do something to your ideas. Ideas.
But it's giving the seed of the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, gift. Giving the seed of the heart. Yeah. Okay. I love it. So I mean, it's if you're giving the idea of whatever you're I think in English, like when you're deifying or like I can like Englify the language, right? I can turn it into English. Like I can defy anything, right? And defiance, right? But if I would be like as if this thing came from a different seed or came from this seed that I'm like when I let me think of a different ify word because I keep going back to deify, but
so the phi becomes it has the y in it.
Sound wise, it's just I. Ify. Oh, I. Ify. You're right. So it's not exactly. It's iffy. That's iffy.
But these are these ending combinations which are interesting in general.
Here's lots of phi. Is there a nice one I can use? Modify. There we go. So when you modify something, the mod, like is like an add, mod, odd.
Model.
You add model. So when you modify or verify, it's really hard to like explain this ending. Like I know how to use it, but anyway. Well, there's another IF word for you. That's maybe we could just leave it at that. Unless you have something, unless you have a better way.
Let's just jump to IEG.
Yeah, California, California.
Cali.
Or the Caliphate. Anyway.
Gallifrey.
All right. Okay. Another one with the F words is those would be like PH. But let's get to that next when we get to F, because you got like cipher.
Yeah.
You know, symphony.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm like just put PH, it just opened up a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, epiphany. What's an epiphany? Epiphany is like this like ultimate idea. A piff. There's some, yeah. Well,
yeah, but
we'll
then we are already too far from to fun.
Okay. Okay.
But we actually came. Yes, you were combined. If we have IG, that was in gift.
Right.
We have gift and if, both in gift. Even if we're not taking ig to be ignorant. Ignoring.
That's hilarious that gift is married and poison. Like, these things don't happen on coincidence, you know. In the saga, it makes perfect sense when you're looking at the saga, though.
Yeah.
Right? This idea of marriage, of one man and one woman, and of course, this is like an area where I was already married, and I already have children, and you know, and my wife's mixed race and non-white, you know, and so all these ideas that are put out in the saga, it's fine to you know, hold the information and understand the saga versus how we live our own lives in this matrix society that we live in, you know, on the other side, and where we're thinking about politics and collective trauma and, you know, and what's going on and the hustle and bustle of life. But these are two different things, and that we don't always have to hold all of them in the same, you know, categories. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. All right, but you know, I guess the actually in the saga, so we have the different castes, right? And so it would be women from a lower caste choosing men from the caste. So a jarl woman would be choosing a carl man, right? And
the opposite way.
A carl jarl man, and but she would choose a different man, you know, 2 years later. So you basically, you know,
can choose, doesn't have to.
Oh,
you can
okay.
also stop at one man and
married to the idea, you know. So because that locks it in. But whereas there is this choosing, you know, and it's based on feelings, and no one's forced to do things. Whereas when we get married today, we are kind of being forced to be intertwined forever. And you know, it's a concept that is, you know, working for most people, and it works for some people. You know, there's different you know, for example, I have a bird. It's a lovebird, right? And or my daughter has a bird, and it's a lovebird, and they usually choose you know, a mate for, and they kind of bond with another one, but not always, right? And so, you know, there's some species that do that, and some that don't, and some that do it sometimes. And so this idea of marriage is kind of can be seen that way from a Bocksaga lens, that we're being locked into this poisonous gift, you know, that it is what it taught when the introduction of marriage, of a gift into society, is what separated the castes in general. And so now to this day, we are left with the haves and the have-nots. You know, we're left with this who the top 0.01% of people who own 99.9% of all the money, and versus everybody else who owns everything else or doesn't own everything else, you know. And so this concept of marriage is kind of what separated the you know, the wealthy and the haves and the have-nots. And so this is kind of a big deal, and it's showing it in this word here of gift, of being married, and being a virus, because it does spread this idea of, anyway. So
but also the married is still with Lemminkäinen and Johan at the top. When the swan comes with Lemminkäinen, there are a couple that are gonna be stayed together always. Even if
so
Lemminkäinen
in some ways, yeah, it's poison. It's
also a gift, because then the swan becomes the gift to the Udema, which becomes the gift to the people.
Yeah, and if we're going to talk also like kind of more spiritually or something, or insightfully, it would be like, you know, in Buddhism, it's like turning poison into medicine. So, you know, without obstacles and without these challenges and without poison, there's no need for, you know, there is no medicine, there is no propelling forward. And so we need, sometimes it's good, you know, there's that guy who like purposely gets bit by snakes until he builds up a tolerance, and now they can use his blood to create anti-venoms from a human instead of using animal anti-venoms to snake bites. He's built up his immune system from purposely getting bit by snakes. Like, it used to be, it was first like once every 6 months, then it was every 3 months, then every month, then every week, and then every day. And now you can get bit by a snake and nothing happens to him.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. IG.
Yeah. Ian. Should we take gift again?
We got an animal. A hedgehog.
Eagle.
Yeah.
Got.
Eagle coat.
But eagle is the leech.
What?
Eagle is the leech, the animal, the leech, the one which comes and suck your. And then eagle cut is then the leech with the hedgehog.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. And then it's also the bird in English. An eagle.
Yeah, eagle also. And then we go to earn. Go.
Eagle. Huh. Well, what about gel? Does that have something to it? Yeah.
Gel is gel, yeah.
But
yeah, it's eagle.
Jelly.
Yeah, gel. Jelly.
Huh. All right. That's kind of.
But there can be some other meaning with gel.
Yeah.
But because it's E-G-L, so it's I gives law. You have the all, and then you have E-girl.
Hedgehog. I only think of Sonic here. I have to let me look at this thing. They are a funny looking creature. They are a very funny looking creature, like a porcupine. Eagle caught. Caught?
Caught.
Why caught? Cone.
Yes.
Cone. So there's that cone word actually, because I think most of the time the cone is referring to the head. Almost similar meaning as fair in Finnish. So like Santa's hat is a cone. but cone.
And there is a movie called Coneheads.
So exactly. So I feel like that's actually kind of how that word consciousness, conceive, construct, conspire,
Contact.
whatever. Yeah, act, construct. Anyway, all those words are something to do with using the head in some way, but he got caught. So maybe because the animal itself looks like a head, it looks like a brain. You ever seen one?
It's the tags.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very it looks like a brain or a head. It actually looks like a hairy head. It looks like a shaved head with like hair.
In Finnish, it's called siili, and when you cut your head completely, you're also like having siili head, like when it's jerked.
What about? I wonder what this animal is called. In it's so funny. Leech head. Maybe because it looks like a leech.
Yeah.
But it's like a head.
Yeah.
So that's
but then the cone is also the hypothalamus in the head. Because like the
siili, you were saying siili has to do with the human head shaving?
The hair type, when the hair is shaved.
And I put this animal in, and the Finnish word for it is siili.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when the hair is very short, when you just shave it very short, that's siili. We call it siili, just based also on the animal.
Okay. All right. Funny. All right. Oh yeah, so I see, and then there's. All right, I'm not going to play around with Finnish. Okay, cool. Well, then, again, a lot of eyes in that word, and we're looking at eye, and that happened earlier when we were looking at another Finnish word where there's a bunch of eyes in the word for the other one too. Coincidence? Maybe, I don't know.
He is everywhere.
Yeah, there's always like those joke videos I see too on Finnish words. Like, oh yeah, it's just like the Swedish word with an I at the end. So yeah, yes. Always add an I. Add an I, and now you're Finnish. Now you're speaking Finnish. So igen. I mean, I kind of talked about it earlier, but igen.
Generation.
That's pretty cool. I never thought about the word again in English like that, but that makes a lot of sense, right? Because we are all copies and copies and copies, right? And it's so sad to see, like how many people, I guess it's not sad to see, but it's interesting to note that when people today, we're looking at like population collapses in many countries where there's just, you don't think about how you can use mainstream genetic timelines of like, billions of years of evolution. Every single mother and father, every single one of our mother and fathers gave birth to make us. And so if I don't have kids, billions of years up to me ends.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a crazy thought, right?
But that's a choice in life. Do you want to become a parent or not? That's kind of the whole system is based on this idea.
So we are in this new society. So we have the Bocksaga story and All Father and All Mother and et cetera, and the pirouette rosette, pirouette rosette, Carl, or Jarl, Carl, and Trail. But now we live in this marriage system, right? And families, like small family, nuclear family, we call them, right? This nuclear family. And when we're in this nuclear family, you have men only having one child or two children, you know, and some families have more. And especially in different cultures, you know, they're specifically like, say in like Muslim cultures, they're specifically having many children, right? Yeah. And they move into places and they have many children because the native population is not, right?
But it's a part of the culture. Like it depends on which culture you have, how much babies you make.
I get that, but you know, it's interesting. Like for example, in America, we have, say, like we have so much abortion. Right? It's like a million a year or more than a million being babies, right? Just like not coming to fruition. But the birth rate is below 2. So you have 2 people on average making less than 2 people. Okay. But if we're in this system where it requires 2 people, you know, we're in this marriage system that we're locked into, you know, it's not going to, again, is not going to happen again.
Why not?
It'll come to a point where we'll have to implement something, some kind of system that's laid out in the Bock Saga to continue. And just kind of crazy that it's just in the word.
General and a healthy way of building up family. Like Bocksaga has also heard this saying that there comes in future a time when everybody gets to have the partner that they want. Somebody who fits together with them. Because now we still have marriage system where this is chosen to people who they're gonna marry. We are missing our free choice in a way.
Yeah. So let's for this recording, I only have about 15 more minutes. So let's get through IG here, and I hear what you said. I heard what you said though. Yeah, it's just great that in this word again, is coming back to this us, you know, humans making again, you know, yen. And
in English, the word beautiful. When it's written, you have again. So always when you do again, you gain something.
So the next word in the dictionary here is en canlig. Recognizable.
Yeah.
Say the whole word for me. Yeah. Can you say the whole word?
Yenchen League.
It wasn't pronounced how I see it. But it's
there's the K changes. The K is like the Shara.
It's a tricky one. So that K isn't K. According to sound, so it would be. So that's a C one. Do you think?
It comes from the C sound. Yenchen League.
Okay. You mental note that one.
Feel. Canna. Chenna.
You need a mental note that one for when we get to C.
Okay.
I won't remember that because the sounds I don't have, right? Like, or the language I don't have. So the proper pronunciation of the word, I just see it and I see a K. So I'm gonna think hard K, but it's hidden. That's you know, when we're doing our 7-hour introduction, it's a little tricky to pinpoint some of these letters, but they are in the words, right? So the C is in there, but it's not.
This is something that when we come to K and when we come to S, which has these sounds in them.
Okay.
because we have TJ, we have STJ, we have Shuka, Sherman, kind of.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this, I don't know how to, let's see, so can, Shan, he says Shan, I can't put it in here, but what would be Conlig or Yanlig or Shanling, Igen Shanlig?
Chenlig.
So we got again being
it's recognized. It's like again recognized, kind of.
So you would recognize.
Yeah. Because when you recognize something, you have recognize.
You recognize your genes.
Yeah, you have recognize.
Yeah, cog would be like cognitive.
Yeah.
Cognition.
Because to be able to do that, you need to have the picture already in your mind to be able to recognize it. Igen känna.
That's a cool word, though. Yeah.
That's actually interesting that it's en and it's re.
Yeah, nice.
Because it comes also in to ignore, ignorera.
Well, yeah, we're about to get there because I'm in like this IG in grund in. You're grund in. So this is like for me, I feel like it's like kind of saying this IG is kind of giving us this like you're grounded on the inside, like you're like it's like confidence or something in the idea that you're like when you recognize someone, you're tapping into this an idea or an experience. You've already, you don't recognize something that you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's in your genes, you're going to recognize.
Yeah.
In your genes, you're going to recognize them. So it is someone that is familiar to you because it's again, en. So it's
in the ground already.
It's coming from your father. And so if someone else is from your father, you're going to recognize them because they're they're in your genes. And
your genes is your ground, the ground that you grow from.
Yeah, give knowledge. Yeah. Knowledge that was given, or given knowledge. Yeah. Which brings us to ignorera, right? And so what I take notice of is the word no, right in the middle of that word. No.
Yeah.
Like no. Like because when you ignore it, it's not something that you do on accident. Right? It's something you do purpose. So like you're still grounded on what you're it's almost like more dismissing. Dismissal, or like you're just not you're not ignoring in English, at least. I don't know if it's maybe not really saying the same meaning here, but when you ignore something, it's I'm doing it on purpose, right? If someone's talking to me, I'm like, and I'm ignoring them, right? Or it's because I have a reason to, and just by you got igen and no is like also gnosis, right? You have the GNO is also like it found in like gnosis or knowledge or gnome, like a garden gnome. And then is it ignorera or is it ignorera?
Ignore. It could actually be a little bit of both also.
This one feels very IG than norera.
Yeah, this is IG. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very IG one. Whereas en is the E. It's kind of you have genes, and then you have
I genes.
Yeah. It's interesting that the leech is EL. That's not even in this book. That word's not even in this book.
Okay.
That I have here, but a leech. That's interesting because it sucks blood, and it latches on, requires its host to survive. And L is L, right?
Yeah.
L is L. So it's the logic of IG, right? And this is just there's these trends. When we were talking to Michelle, he was, we were going into the atmosphere, where the atmosphere is created from all the green, all the moss, right? And over time, all the moss creates all of the carbon dioxide or the oxygen or whatever, and this gives us the atmosphere. So you can't have an atmosphere without moss, or this algae, and all the out of the ocean and all the green and that dark blue green moss. And so here we have another reference to a very simple word of EGL.
Leggy. It's like legit when you take it backwards.
Or parasite.
Yeah, but paras is best. So you have parasite is the best eaters.
Yeah. They're not that dangerous to humans. In fact, leeches have been used to treat disease for a very, very long time. They're a worm, a type of worm. Annelida. They're closely related to earthworms. So this is a very old, and this is a very ancient creature.
Yeah.
There's something here. There's something there. Even this one is because if it's eeg.
It's an eel
they
with a G.
root themselves inside your skin or onto things, so they are like pulling, something like that. The L is like, isn't that like God or like Udin or something, or like electricity? It's the energy. It's L is like the
L can be electricity, or then it's the law of the oak, which has to do with nature laws.
Yeah. All right, and so, but in ignore, era. So yeah, I mean, era would be like, it gives me like the idea of, because ignoring something is kind of an active thing. You have to, you don't.
Yeah. That's the ending. Also, the era has to do with activity.
Yeah. So and it's time. You know, an era. So the ra for
it's like transportera, like the.
Yeah. So nor is north.
Okay.
Nor is north.
Nor can be north, but it.
Yeah. What it can be? What you're about to say?
I still would feel that it has to do with no repetition, like you are ignoring.
Yeah.
Because ien has to do with repetition, and ignorera then is the kind of not repeating.
Why IG? Why does it start with IG? What about in Finnish? What's it? What's ignore in Finnish?
Oh.
Let's see here. Probably have, because you Finns are good at ignoring everyone, huh? These days. Wow, you don't have any simple words for ignore.
Like, because jättää huomiota is like live without attention.
Yeah. Live without attention. See, again, you're attentive. It's an action. It's a, you know, you're actively being ignored. It's very interesting word, actually, when you think about it. I just don't understand why it would be, what IG has anything to do with it, unless this is more of a newer word, you know? Can go to, yeah, I don't know. You have any Kella on it? Ignore in Latin is ignore. Ignoro. So it is also Latin. Ignorant.
Ignorant.
If you're ignorant. So again, it has something to do with. Do you have ignorant in? Oh, you know, one we didn't cover is idiot.
Yeah, but that's also like a.
Must be a new one also, but idiot. I don't know. Honestly, I only have like 1 or 2 more minutes, so let's just finish up on the IG here, which is igong and igong satning, to start, and
that's all with ego. Like, it's put the gong is to go, so it's the I go. So everything that starts to igong has to do with putting the I into motion.
And then I go.
And then
Igor.
Igor. Igor is that yesterday. Igor. And then we had ienom, which is true. Between.
From yesterday. So like yesterday, the raw is what goes. So the ray, the raw, the moon, and the sun, the rays, was yesterday. So that's Igor.
So we had if Yule, which was the F of Yule, and Igor, which is the I of the yesterdays, go of the yesterday.
Love it. Awesome.
It's nice.
All right. Well, we'll chat and see when we can finish the. We haven't even gotten to IN.
No.
And that's the biggie. But wow, the stuff about the queen and the choosing, that's like super cool. The idea, that all ID comes from ideas, you know, or something that's happening within. Where the house where our brain lives is the idea, ide, which is the where our brain is the den, you know. And yeah, good stuff. That's very profound. And you know, like we're just talking about the first couple letters too, and you know, or like words that begin with these, and so you start plugging these sounds to other places, you know. So we got IG, and then you got dig, or big, or different things like that, right? And what is, when you dig, you know, you're digging in the ground, dig, right? And it's something that's happening in the ground. And boom, that's amazing. So same thing with again. N is or N is like the knowledge of the ground inside, and that's where we all start, you know, as the seed inside. Anyway, so the knowledge giving in, and love it. This is fun. So let's pick up where we left off soon.
Yes, thank you.
All right, cheers.